Welcome to this episode of Top 10 Takeaways. This channel explores the top 10 takeaways you can discover from a variety of sources such as interesting and popular books, people, videos, podcasts, and companies, just to name a few. In this episode, we look at the top 10 takeaways from the teaching of Dave Ramsey. If you're not familiar with Dave Ramsey, he is a 7-time #1 national best-selling author, personal finance expert, creator of Financial Peace University, and host of The Ramsey Show, heard by 18 million listeners every week. Since 1992, Dave has helped people take control of their money, build wealth, and enhance their lives. He also serves as CEO for the Ramsey Solutions company. Now, let's take a look at those top 10 takeaways you can learn from the financial teaching of Dave Ramsey and Ramsey Solutions.
Takeaway number 10. The 7 Baby Steps. Dave is perhaps best known for his famous list of 7 baby steps that he talks about on his radio show, writes about in his books, and teaches in his popular class, Financial Peace University. A few of these steps will be covered in more detail in the other takeaways, but here's a quick rundown of all 7 steps. The 7 baby steps include: Baby Step 1. Save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. Baby Step 2. Pay off all debt, except the house, using the debt snowball. Baby Step 3. Save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. Baby Step 4. Invest 15% of your household income in retirement. Baby Step 5. Save for your children's college fund. Baby Step 6. Pay off your home early. Baby Step 7. Build wealth and give. Not all financial experts agree with Dave's money approach with these 7 baby steps. Some believe this is a somewhat slow approach to wealth building, but it is an approach that has worked for millions of people. The Ramsey Solutions team keeps meticulous records and statistics of people who have gone through Financial Peace University, and many of those who complete Dave's classes are winning with money, and winning big.
Takeaway number 9. Sell the truck. Drive a beater. A common, somewhat humorous theme that has developed over the years of the Ramsey radio show is a quote that Dave will often tell those who call into the show. Dave has a unique sixth sense when it comes to people who are discussing their personal finances with him. They share with him their financial numbers without disclosing the fact that they have large auto loans. Well, Dave, of course, digs and digs until the caller discloses that they have a relatively large loan on a newer car, SUV, or truck. Then, as only Dave can do, he yells into his radio microphone. Sell the truck. Once they can sell their truck or car and pay off the auto loan, he tells them to find a beater to drive until they pay off all their debts. These beater vehicles have affectionately become known as Dave Ramsey cars, or Dave Ramsey beaters, to those who are aggressively paying off all their personal debt as quickly as possible. You can recognize these cars because they leave oil drip stains in parking lots, driveways, and garages. If you want to pay off debt and build wealth over the long term, expensive, debt-purchased vehicles are not the path to get you there. Dave encourages people to drive less expensive, used vehicles, to get out of debt, build wealth, and then consider buying a newer, more expensive vehicle with cash. Takeaway number 8. The importance of emergency funds. Call it what you will, cash reserves or emergency funds, Dave regularly stresses the importance of having liquid cash sitting off to the side, in case of emergencies. He believes in this concept so highly, that the emergency fund actually takes up 2 of the 7 baby steps. Baby Step 1, a $1,000 starter emergency fund. And then Baby Step 3, a fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses. There is a statistic he often cites that says, 39% of Americans can't cover a $400 emergency expense without going into debt or selling something. Dave says that when you have little to no money in the bank, you're inviting Murphy and his cousins, broke, desperate and stupid, to move in with you. In other words, you'll find yourself in a mess because you didn't have the maturity and wisdom to wait on making big financial decisions until you had your fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses in place. He calls having that liquid cash emergency fund Murphy repellent. The only way we can truly become debt-free and remain debt-free is to have cash reserves to cover emergencies, in order to avoid going into debt ever again. In the description area below this video, we have included links to Ramsey Solutions resources that can help you on your financial journey. And if you are getting value from the information in this video, would you consider giving this video a like and subscribing to our channel? This will help us to be able to reach more viewers and expand as a channel. Thanks.
Takeaway number 7. Check your credit report. In his Financial Peace University class, Dave stresses the importance of checking your credit report regularly. There are 3 primary credit reporting agencies: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. At any time, and without warning, errors and other issues can pop up on your report with any of these companies. You need to monitor all 3 of these reporting agencies at least once a year. In order to check your credit reports, Dave recommends using a website called annualcreditreport.com. On this site, you can receive 1 free report from each of these companies, once a year. You can receive all 3 reports simultaneously once a year, or another recommendation from Dave. You can log in every 4 months for just 1 report. For example, you could check your Equifax report on April 1st of each year, your Experian report on August 1st of each year, and your TransUnion report on December 1st each year. With this approach, you can regularly monitor your credit, multiple times a year, all for free. And, if you do find issues in any of your credit reports, you can dispute the record, and clean it up if incorrect.
Takeaway number 6. The importance of insurance coverage. In Financial Peace University, Dave Ramsey does an excellent job of stressing the importance of having the proper insurance policies in place. While many may see a lot of insurance policies as a waste of money, Dave views insurance as a proper line of defense for your money, to protect your net worth against acts of nature, accidents, health problems, and lawsuits. He stresses the importance of having the proper coverage dialed in on your vehicles, home, health insurance, disability insurance, term life insurance, and even umbrella insurance policies. Without good insurance in place, one bad accident, health problem, or act of nature, in any one area, can devastate a family for years, maybe even for a lifetime. Having both a strong offense and defense in your personal finances is important for winning with money. Don't pinch pennies in this area. Be protected in the event of any major, negative life situation.
Takeaway number 5. The borrower is slave to the lender. Freedom from consumer debt is the hallmark key lesson taught by Dave Ramsey. A powerful teaching moment that Dave shares in Financial Peace University, as well as in some of his live seminars, is a visual illustration of the Bible verse Proverbs 22:7, which says, "The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is slave of the lender." Dave shares his own powerful debt story and then uses an actual metal chain to demonstrate the bondage of debt and the hard work it takes to get out of debt. Even though debt can be bondage, Dave and the Ramsey Solutions team have developed great tools to get out of debt as soon as possible. The main tool they use is called the debt snowball, which leads us directly into our next takeaway.
Takeaway number 4. The debt snowball. There are a few different strategies you can use to get out of debt. Dave and his team use what they call the debt snowball. Many other financial experts don't like the debt snowball method, because mathematically it makes more sense to pay off the debts with the highest interest rates first. Dave's argument, though, is that if people really understood debt from a mathematical perspective, they never would have gotten into debt in the first place. Being in debt over your head and living paycheck to paycheck is a psychological, habit-driven problem. It is centered in our mental and emotional state. As such, Dave recommends attacking the debt with a psychological approach. In the debt snowball method, you list your consumer debts from smallest to largest. On this list, put credit cards, doctor bills, car notes, and any other debts except your mortgage. You ignore the interest rates on these debts and focus on the dollar amounts. While you pay the minimum payments on all your debts, throw any extra money in your budget on the smallest debt and pay that off as soon as possible. Yes, a quick win. Then, you move on to the next smallest debt in the list and pay that off as soon as possible with any extra budget money. And then, you keep moving down your list of debts until you have everything paid off, except your house. According to the Ramsey Solutions team's research and practical experience, This method really is the most effective for getting out of debt sooner than later. This debt payoff method builds momentum, just like a snowball rolling down a hill that picks up more and more snow as it gets to the bottom. If you are getting value from the information in this video, would you consider giving this video a like and subscribing to our channel? This will help us to be able to reach more viewers and expand as a channel. Thanks.
Takeaway number 3. The dreaded B word, budget. Another key principle of the teaching of Dave Ramsey is the importance of consistently doing a monthly budget. As Dave always says, on paper, on purpose. You have to give each dollar a job in the budget, and then make sure those dollars behave every month. Dave calls this zero-based budgeting. This is where you add up all your income sources, then subtract all your expenses, and the end goal is to equal zero once this takes place. You have to be intentional with your money. You must have a plan for it, otherwise, everyone else around you will have a plan for your money and figure out ways to take it from you. Even though Dave teaches people to begin their first few months of budgeting with a plain old piece of paper and pencil budget process, there are now several online, digital resources available that make the budgeting process so much easier than it used to be. In fact, the Ramsey Solutions team has developed their own online monthly budgeting tool called EveryDollar. They have a simple, free version to try at everydollar.com. And, another great feature to EveryDollar, is their corresponding smartphone app to keep track of your budget when you're on the go. Check it out.
Takeaway number 2. Relationships and money. You can't win with money over the long term without having healthy relationships with both people and money. This is especially true between a husband and wife. Families who win with money have full alignment and trust when it comes to their personal finances. The husband isn't out making expensive purchases without his wife's knowledge and vice versa. Dave recommends that spouses have a budget meeting at least once a month, right before the next month begins, to discuss the budget needs of the coming month. Then, the husband and wife pinky swear that they will follow the budget. They also agree that if something should come up where the budget needs to be broken or altered, they will call an emergency budget meeting to adjust budget numbers. Married couples who win with money also share common financial goals they are working together on and achieving over time. Winning with money requires strong, healthy personal relationships.
Takeaway number 1. The power of generous giving. This final takeaway is somewhat of an oxymoron, at least from a math perspective. Why would a personal finance expert teach people to prioritize giving money away, even when you are deeply in debt? Shouldn't you be ultra frugal and use any and all extra money to pay off debts, or at least save it in the bank for a rainy day? While the math may not make a whole lot of sense on paper, there is something powerful that takes place when people become regular generous givers. Something gets unlocked in people's spirits. They understand the power of abundance and the flow of money. They become content in their spirit. They recognize that stuff won't make them happy. They believe that they have enough for themselves and enough to share. Instead of having a miserly, penny-pinching attitude, people who are generous seem relaxed financially and in the flow of money. Dave teaches people that even if they are digging their way out of debt, they should prioritize giving at least at the level of the tithe or 10% of their income to their local church. And, if they aren't churchgoers, to give that 10% to a charitable organization they believe in. He says to put your 10% giving right at the top of the budget. Make sure that giving takes place before any bills get paid, and then watch what happens. Those who are generous from the start tend to be more disciplined with money and are able to get out of debt faster than those who don't give. It's one of those unique universal laws that works every time it's tried. And then once you have all your debts paid off and emergency fund built up in the bank, you can begin expanding your generosity beyond the level of the tithe. As we wrap up this final takeaway, we will leave you with this final quote from Dave regarding generosity. Giving is the antidote for selfishness. It's the hallmark character quality of those who win with money.
If you enjoyed this video, would you consider giving this video a like and subscribing to our channel? This will help us to be able to reach more viewers and expand the channel. Learn more about Dave Ramsey and the Ramsey Solutions Company, as well as some of the resources discussed in this video in the description below. Thanks for watching.